Okay, we're recording. Sorry about that. See how this goes. I used to work in IT, but I don't anymore and haven't for a while. And sometimes I'm like, how do I use a computer? That is certainly how I am feeling today. Yeah. So. Let's get into it. I have 3 piles for you today. First, we have the Rainbow Tarot deck. That is this little blue stone. Not sure exactly what that is. This is the True Heart Tarot deck. And this one we have a Coyote Toe Bone that I found in a shop. Although I do see coyotes all the time if I'm hiking out behind my yard. But they're alive, so I will not take their toes. And then this is our Modern Witch Tarot. And I think this is a broken shark tooth. These are just random things I have that I like, so there they are. Okay, let's get into it. Let's start with the Rainbow Tarot. This is just going to be a just a general reading for whoever it resonates with at the moment. So yeah, let's see what comes out. So for me with reading, I read the deck and the cards that are laid out to me. And sometimes different decks, the cards mean different things, and sometimes in different moments in time, something is, drawing me more to one thing than another in a card. And so yeah, it could be different each time. And also, that's my other little caveat, I do not read reversals. These two. Okay. Let's see. Any other messages for this reading? Any other messages for this reading? For this energy? Any other messages for this energy? Okay. Let's see here. So, we have the Two of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, the Fool, and the Two of Cups. So, the Two of Swords feels very much in this moment like you, well, actually in this she kind of has like a little party hat on, so it doesn't seem as serious. Like maybe I was gonna say like facing an opponent, but since she's wearing this party hat and she has these swords, it's more like swiping at a pinata. So I don't think it has like the level of potential seriousness that the Two of Swords, like in the Rider Waite, could have. Um, I feel like it's more like, yeah, you're swinging blindly. You're trying to hit, and maybe you're having a lot of misses. But like it's not that deep, Like you're trying, you're showing up, you're trying to do something, and you're at the party, you're there, you're having a good time, and maybe you're having some swings, and you're having some misses, and this could be related to business ventures. This could be related to developing relationships. This could be, just general. Like life things, you could feel here like you're striking out a lot, and you are, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be a catastrophic failure. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you're never gonna have a hit. It just means that you're trying, and when you try, sometimes it doesn't work out. And then we have that with the Seven of Pentacles, and she is looking pretty concerned. She's looking at her resources, she's looking at her bank account, and it doesn't seem like a lot to her in this moment. But the thing is, there are 7 of them. 7's at the higher end of the spectrum for how far these numbers go. And yeah, I think we can tell ourselves that it can really be easy to get into the thick of it and get into the weeds and tell ourselves that that things aren't going to be enough, and maybe XYZ is going to happen, and and it can be, I think sometimes it's a matter of not even being an optimist, but just looking at your blessings, right? Like looking at where things are okay. And I mean, I think the energy of this deck just has a very positive spin to it, I feel like. So that's what's leading me in that direction. It definitely feels like there's like, with both of these 2 cards I talked about, the Two of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles, there's definitely this kind of like fear there that you're missing out on something or something's wrong. But this, this reading, if it resonates for you, you're doing okay. Your higher self, your guides, just this deck wants to let you know that, like, you got this. And look for the blessings, look for the times that it's worked out, look for the wins. Yeah. And along with that, we have the Fool and the Two of Cups, and the Fool is, starting a new journey. So maybe this is a lot of those having, you've had a lot of misses, you're kind of feeling down in the weeds, but you're starting something new. And this Fool comes with the Two of Cups, which is kind of, a card of love. It's just been Valentine's Day, a card of romance. So that could be starting a new romantic endeavor. It could also be the Two of Cups for me. A lot of times is like the sharing of ideas, sharing a cup, sharing. Sharing space with someone else, and so that could be from a romantic perspective, but that could also be a business venture, starting a new business venture with someone, starting a business venture with yourself, starting a new business venture where you need to speak your voice, where you need to be heard, where you need to put yourself out there. I think the beginning of these two cards is kind of maybe where you've been, and this is where you're going. You've kind of been pretty hard on yourself, pretty down on your luck, and you're moving into these new spaces, and I think you should look at these past things and give yourself a little more credit, because you've done a great job, and it just keeps getting better from here, I think, for you. Let's see, are there any additional messages for this reading? Any additional messages for this reading? King of Cups. Yeah. You are riding the waves. You're in the flow. You're trusting yourself. You're trusting where you're at. You're in the middle of the ocean, but it's not scary. You're good, And, yeah. Sometimes I also like to use this crow deck just for any synchronicities or signs or symbols to look out for. So let's see if we get anything here for you. Is there any signs or symbols to look out for this reading? Is there any signs or symbols to look out for this reading? So this is the Five of Cups, which is kind of a downer of a card, but we're not looking at it for that reason. We are looking at it for the signs and symbols. So crow, obviously. If we see some crows, that's good. This looks by a river. There's some pine trees in the background. Kind of looks snowy. So maybe you are in a snowy area. Maybe you need to go to the mountains and be around some snow and some water. Just something to look for there. Cool. Okay. That's that one. So let's move on to this one. This is our Coyote Toe. This is the True Heart Tarot deck. Let's see what we get here. What energy are we picking up? What is the message we have today for those on this call, on this video? One thing, I did want to say something. What did I want to say? Yeah, this is just paper card reading, so I should probably have said this at the beginning, but you can feel free to pick a pile just from the picture or listen to them all and see what feels good to you. And yeah, my name is Liam, by the way, if I haven't said that already. Let's see if we got any other cards. We got 4 last time. I think the last video, 4 cards kept coming up for me as well. So we'll see. 4. Let's see if we get any more. Okay. Okay. So we got 5. 5 cards. Let's see here. So, 3 of Swords. 10 of Wands. The Lovers. Death. And the 10 of Cups. 3 of Swords. Okay. Literally a stab to the heart with this one. And there's a lot of pain here. There's a lot of ruminating. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of like wrapping yourself up in tangles, wrapping yourself up in knots, you know? It feels like you're very, very caught up in your head, very, very caught up in the mental space. And yeah, that feels really hard. You're definitely going through it. It feels like this is primarily like just a nightmare of your own creation sort of situation. I know that's probably hard to hear, but it's like the obsessing over, the constantly like looking something up or constantly taking in other people's thoughts or ideas is contributing to this like messed up headspace, you know? It's contributing to these like pain in your chest, the mental chatter. Yeah, I think that what we have next is the Ten of Wands. And the Ten of Wands is feeling like you're at the precipice of something. It is it's a 10, it's a closing out of a journey, it's a closing out of a cycle. And that could be this closing out of this really like intellectual, really like heady space that you've been in. It could be a closing out of this cycle of rumination instead of action. It could be a lot of this what do I want to say here? I think it's a coming home of sorts, right? It's a coming home of sorts into the person you are, the person you've always been, but you felt so separated from. You felt so separated from your essence, from your source, from you, because you've been filling yourself to the brim with this chatter, right? In your head, this I'm not good enough, this I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to look this way, I need to perform this way, I need to show up as this. You are perfect exactly the way that you are. You don't need to become someone else's version of you or someone else's version of whatever. You need to just become more you. And there are going to be people who don't like that. And there are going to be people who think that sucks, and that's okay. There are also going to be people who love that and who need that and who need you to show up as your authentic true self. Um, with that, we have the Lovers and the Death card. The Lovers. I want to move to this real fast because this is rebirth energy. This is literally pulling a new version of you from your chest and becoming, you know? And we get there through this journey, you know, through this, you know, for some reason, the imagery on this card makes me think of the end of the Lord of the Rings trilogy when the eagles pick them up. And so it's like you're getting taken back to your village after this long journey. And it could, it's definitely a long journey of emotional, mental space, heartache, right? And we can move through that into this death portal, into this shedding, into this becoming. And we do that through the Lovers. And we do that through the Lovers with like, why don't these people have any body hair? I mean, I get that it's an artistic representation, but like, come on, where's the bush? Sorry. We move through this through love, through okay, this is what I want to say. We move through this, we rebirth through doing things you love. That could be a person. I don't necessarily mean it in that way. I mean it in the way of pursuing activities that bring you feelings of love and joy and bliss, whatever those activities are. Do not judge yourself too harshly on what those activities are. Follow your desire. Follow your passion. What things light you up? What things make you feel good? What things do you look forward to doing? Follow those, and that will get you to the right path. I also think this could be taken very literally as the Lover's card with the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is very like family oriented to me, so that could be growing your family, finding a partner, whatever. In which case, it is just through this rebirth, through this becoming of you listening to your body, and following synchronicities, following your desires will lead you to this happy home life, whatever that is for you. That could be a family and kids, that could be pets, that could be, just a beautiful place to rest your head. Yeah. Let's see if we have any signs or symbols for this group. signs or symbols for this reading. Oh, what? A bunch of cards popped out. The star? I feel like I'll tell you the other ones, but this is the star. And there's a little, let's call it a red robin up there. And then we also have 3 of Wands, which also has a star on it. So, I think you should go look at the night sky. And some lotus blossoms down there. Cool. All right. There is that one. On to the next. All right. We have our Sharktooth Modern Witch Tarot deck. Struggling to get these in the right spot to shuffle. This month of February is feeling very long. And where I live, it has been spring weather, and then now it's been cold again. So it was like 70s, and then now it's nice and wintry, which I like. So it's kind of been dark and dreary today, but we do not get dark and dreary days that often, so I like them a lot since living here. Okay, let's see what these cards have to say. What messages do we have for the collective? 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 Messages do we have for the collective? So far we got one card, Temperance. So that is telling you to be patient. One more cards pop out. Okay, gosh, no, not these ones. Let's look a million cards. These ones? Jeez. Okay. I swear I shuffled these. You heard me shuffling them. Proper card, like a playing deck. Proper shuffle. Let's see if we get anything else. Popping out all the cards. Alright, maybe we're just getting 4. Any more messages? Okay, there we go. Cool. Okay. I'm laughing because this Three of Pentacles popped out, and look, she has a bush. So that's funny. Okay, so we got the Temperance card, Five of Cups, Ace of Cups, Eight of Cups, and Three of Pentacles. Lots of water energy. Temperance also has, she's pouring water back and forth. She's in a river. Yeah, so I think we're gonna start this off by saying to be patient. These things near the end of the reading are coming. But there is some grief here. There is some letting go. The Five of Cups is showing you that you have been, you're looking you're looking upon the things that have gone wrong, and you might be in a grief process. You might have just gone through a breakup. You might, maybe the person you're with or a person you wanted to be with, who you thought they were is not who they actually are. And so there's a lot of despair here. There's a lot of sadness, and there's a lot of release and letting go that needs to happen. And I think the best way to sort through that is to go through it, to surrender to it, you know? If that means laying on your couch all day and crying and being sad, then let yourself really feel this, right? With all this water energy, let yourself feel the depths of this. Don't race through it. Don't tell yourself that it's only been a day and you need to be better. Don't rush the grief process. Don't rush the fact that this is a sad thing that has happened, you know? It's not gonna last forever. You're gonna get up off the couch. And you're going to, you're gonna start. There's a lot of journeying here. The Ace of Cups. Aces are beginning. Am I getting that wrong? Why am I questioning that suddenly? Yeah, ones, beginnings. Sorry. Then we also have the Eight of Cups, which is also a journey. You know, she's climbing a mountain. She's headed towards the summit. Yeah. I think that then, we go into this Three of Pentacles energy. And this is very much for me like working on your craft card. This is like honing what's yours. This could literally be, you're an artist and you need to be, maybe you've stepped away from that, or you haven't embraced it. Um, with this grief process, you've maybe let that part of yourself go, or you haven't pursued it. And these cards here are really telling us, like, to do the thing, to pursue your passion, to start the new journey, and start it with an open hand and an open heart, and start it with your emotions out there. Start it being start it, I want to say, let it flow, you know. With all this water energy, I want to tell you to let it flow. Let's see if we have any other messages for you here. Because this one's not feeling totally complete. What other messages do we have today? What other messages do we have today? Flip cards. Ace of Swords, Six of Cups. This is so many cups. Are you like a water sign? This is so much water. Six of Cups. Ace of Swords. I'm hearing with the Six of Cups. Share your gifts. Get out into your community and share your gifts, you know? I think it's like you are good enough, you know? And the world needs your art, needs your voice, it needs your unique perspective. I think so. Anyway, and then with this Ace of Swords, you know, this is beginnings, air energy, I think it all feels really positive. I think there's some patience. I think you need to be patient with yourself and allow yourself to be in the depths of this emotional experience and let it flow. It's not permanent. It's not going to last forever. The longer you resist it, the longer it will be. So yeah. All right, let's go with that. Let's see if there are any signs or symbols for you. The Ten of Wands. Let's see. Flying, carrying that. Maybe tens or sync for you. Feels very like city. There's like a downtown area in the background. Industrial, I want to say. I'm not sure. I also think too, with these cards, I think get out in the world. This is feeling very like get out of your house, get out in the world, go be in nature, go to a class, a group thing, be around people locally, and share your gifts in that way. Cool. So that's that. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. If you want to book a one-on-one reading with me, I have my website. I will link that in the description. And you can book there. All right. Have a great day.